He mocked the quiet man standing by the safe and said, "I'll put 20 million right here if you can unlock it." Everyone laughed until the man placed his hand on the lock and whispered something that made the room freeze in silence. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. I will give you $20 million right here, right now, if you can open it. The words cut through the party noise. Oliver Thorne stood in the center of his shining glass house, his hand on a giant black safe. He was smiling at a quiet man in a simple shirt. The man held the hand of a little girl. She had curly red hair and clutched a teddy bear. The room was full of important people. They all stopped talking to watch. The quiet man, David Finch, did not look at the money on the table. He looked at Oliver. Then he looked down at his daughter, Lily. "Daddy?" Lily whispered, her voice very small. "It is all right, Lily," David said. He knelt down to be at her eye level. "I will be right back. Hold Mr. Snuggles tight." She nodded, tucking the bear under her chin. David stood up and walked to the safe. The metal was cold and very old. He put his hand flat on the door, right next to the lock. "There is no key, Finch," Oliver laughed. His friends Mark and Ben laughed with him. "No combination dial, it is impossible. My favorite thing in the world." David did not listen. He leaned close to the metal, where the door met the frame. He did not touch the lock. He moved his lips until they almost touched the black steel. He whispered 3 numbers. They were so soft no one else could hear them. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a deep, solid asterisk click. Asterisk echoed in the silent room. The heavy door of the safe swung open by itself. No one moved. No one breathed. Oliver Thorne's smile vanished. His face lost all its color. The glass in his hand shook. Mark and Ben stopped laughing. Their mouths hung open. David Finch reached into the dark safe. His hand came back out holding one thing. It was not money. It was not gold. It was a photograph. He looked at it. His whole body went still. His hands began to shake. Lily let go of her bear's hand and walked to her father. She looked at the picture in his hands. She saw a younger version of her dad. She saw a beautiful woman with kind eyes and curly red hair. The woman was smiling Lily's own smile. "That is Mommy," Lily said, not as a question. It was a fact. David could not speak. He could only nod. He turned the photograph over. On the back was a date from 5 years ago, and there was other writing. It was tiny and messy, made with a shaky hand. Oliver stumbled forward. "That should not be in there." His voice was a sharp yell. "How did you do that? Who are you?" David Finch finally looked up from the picture. His gray eyes were not kind anymore. They were like 2 pieces of ice. "You asked for the impossible, Oliver," David said, his voice quiet but clear in the huge room. "You just did not know I built it." You built this?" Oliver's eyes were wide with panic. "A long time ago," David said. He was talking only to Oliver now. The rest of the party guests were like statues. "For a project no one was supposed to know about. I left to have a family." He held up the photograph of his wife Sarah, the wife who vanished 5 years ago and was never found. "You knew her. You knew Sarah." Oliver's breath came in fast gasps. He looked from the photo to the open, empty safe. He looked terrified of what was asterisk, not asterisk inside. David saw the terror. He looked back at the small writing on the photograph. He read the desperate words. His heart, which had felt like a stone for 5 years, gave one hard, painful beat. He knelt down again to Lily. He showed her the back of the picture. "Mommy wrote this, Lily. She left us a message." Lily touched the tiny words with one finger. "What does it say, Daddy?" "It says she is alive," David whispered, his voice thick. "And it tells us how to find her." He stood up, holding Lily's hand. He looked once more at Oliver Thorne, who was backing away into the crowd. The party was erupting into noise and confusion, but David Finch heard none of it. He had the photograph, he had the truth, and now he had a path to follow. He walked through the crowd, past the table of untouched money toward the door. He had what he needed. The race was already starting. The cold night air hit their faces as the heavy front door closed behind them. The noise of the party was gone. replaced by the distant sounds of the city far below. David Finch did not stop walking. He held Lily's hand and kept moving toward their small old car parked near the street. "Daddy, you are walking too fast," Lily said, almost running to keep up. David slowed down immediately. "I am sorry, Lily." He stopped and crouched on the sidewalk. His hands were still shaking. "Are you okay?" Lily nodded, her big eyes looking at the photograph he clutched. "Can I see Mommy's writing?" He took a deep breath and showed her the back of the picture. Under the streetlight, the tiny, scratchy words were clear. "Read it to me, please," Lily whispered. David's voice was soft and rough. "It says, 'He put me here. Find me. I am alive. Follow the sound.'" Lily was quiet for a moment. "Oliver put Mommy in the safe?" "Yes." "But she got out," Lily said, pointing to the woods. "She says she is alive." "She did," David said. He felt a tear roll down his cheek. He wiped it away quickly. "She is so smart, Lily. She left us a map." "What is the sound?" Inside the glass house, they could see people moving quickly past the windows. A figure ran through the crowd. "The safe I opened makes a very low sound," David explained. "A hum. It is so quiet most people never hear it. But I know that sound. I helped make it. The safe Oliver has is one of two. The other one, its sister, makes the exact same hum. If she says follow the sound, she means that other safe. She knows I can find it." "Where is the other safe?" Lily asked. "I do not know," David said. "But I can build something to listen for it. It will tell us which way to go." A shout came from the direction of the house. Oliver Thorne burst out of the front door. His suit jacket was gone. He looked left and right, his eyes wild, and ran toward a shiny black car. Two other men, Mark and Ben, ran out after him. "Oliver, stop!" Mark yelled. "We need to talk about this." Oliver yanked open his car door. "There is nothing to talk about. She is alive. Do you understand what that means for us?" Ben caught up and put a hand on the car door. "We did not know, Oliver. We thought it was just an accident. We helped you keep it quiet. But we did not know she was in there alive." "You took my money to help," Oliver snarled. "You do not get to be innocent now. If he finds her first, we all go to jail forever. Get in the car or get out of my way." Mark and Ben looked at each other. Their faces were scared. They got into the expensive car. The engine roared and the car sped off into the night. David watched them go. He felt no anger. He felt a clear, cold purpose. "Come on, Lily. We need to go home. We have work to do." Their apartment was small and quiet. It was on the third floor of an old brick building. The only sounds were the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sirens of the city. David went straight to a closet. He pulled out a large metal box. Inside were old tools, wires, and small electronic parts. Lily sat at the small kitchen table with Mr. Snuggles. "What are you making, Daddy?" "A listener," David said. He connected a small speaker to a circuit board. "It will hear the hum from the other safe. It will tell us if we are getting closer." He worked fast. His hands were steady now. This was a problem he could solve. He could not bring back the last 5 years, but he could follow this sound. In less than an hour, he had a small box with a single dial and a tiny speaker. He turned it on. A soft, slow beeping noise came out. Asterisk beep, beep, beep. "The beeping is slow," David said. "That means the other safe is very far away. When we drive toward it, the beeping will get faster." He packed the box, some clothes, and a few other things into a small bag. He took the photograph of Sarah and put it in the very front pocket of his shirt, right over his heart. Lily packed her own little backpack. She put in Mr. Snuggles, a notebook, and her favorite crayon. "Where are we going, Daddy?" she asked. "Wherever the sound takes us," David said. He knelt before her. "It might be a long drive. We might have to sleep in the car. Are you scared?" Lily thought about it. She shook her head. "Mommy is waiting. The sound will take us to her." David hugged her tight. He picked up their bags and the listening box. The slow beeping was a promise, a thread in the dark. They turned off the lights and left their quiet apartment behind. They were not chasing Oliver. They were following a sound only a father and a husband could hear, a hum that meant hope was not gone. It was just waiting somewhere down the road. The old car's engine hummed a different tune than the one David was listening for. The small box on the passenger seat beeped its slow, steady rhythm. Asterisk, beep, beep, beep. Lily watched the city lights of Seattle fade in the back window, replaced by the dark shapes of trees. "Where are we going, Daddy?" she asked from the back seat, her voice sleepy. "The sound is telling us to go south," David said, his eyes on the road. "The beeps will get faster when we are going the right way." "How fast?" "A little bit faster every mile," he said. He adjusted the dial on the box. The beeping did not change. It was still slow and patient. "It is a very long way away, Lily. You should try to sleep." "I am not tired," she said, but she hugged Mr. Snuggles closer. "What if the sound stops?" "It will not stop," David said. He said it with a certainty he felt deep in his bones. Mommy made sure of that. After 2 hours of driving, the beeping changed. Asterisk, beep, 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 beep. It was slightly quicker. "It is getting faster," Lily said, her tiredness gone. David allowed himself a small smile. "Yes, we are going the right way." Oliver Thorne's car was not old and it was not slow. It sped down the same highway, going south. The inside of the car was silent, except for the roar of the engine. Mark sat in the front passenger seat. Ben was in the back. "We need a plan, Oliver," Mark said, his voice tight. "We cannot just drive." "The plan is to find her first," Oliver said, his hands gripping the steering wheel. "Everything else is noise." "But where is she?" Ben asked from the back. "She could be anywhere." "She had a head injury," Oliver said, thinking out loud. "She could not have gone far that night. She was confused. She would have needed help." He turned the heavy ring on his finger. "People without memories, they show up in hospitals, in police reports, in small towns where someone takes them in. So we look for records," Mark said. "A woman found 5 years ago, no name, a head injury." "Yes," Oliver said. "We use my money. We hire someone who knows how to find those records quietly. We get a name, a town, before Finch does." "And when we find her?" Ben asked. The question hung in the air. Oliver did not answer for a long time. The road stretched out in front of them, dark and endless. "We make sure she never remembers," he finally said. "We contain the problem. We have to." David pulled into a motel parking lot. The sign had one letter missing, blinking VAC NCY. The night was very late. He carried a sleeping Lily into a small, clean room with 2 beds. He laid her down and covered her with a blanket. She held Mr. Snuggles even in her sleep. He placed the listening box on the table. Asterisk, beep, 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 beep. It was definitely faster now. He took the photograph from his shirt pocket. He looked at Sarah's smile. Then he looked at the writing on the back. Follow the sound. He knew what he had built. The safes were linked by a frequency, a low hum like a heartbeat. One safe called to the other. Sarah knew he would understand. She knew he could build a key to hear it. He thought of Oliver running. He was not worried about Oliver catching up to them. Oliver did not have a sound to follow. He was guessing. David was not. He put the photo back in his pocket. He lay down on the other bed but did not close his eyes. He listened to the beeping of the box and the soft breathing of his daughter. 2 sounds, both leading him forward. In the morning, they would keep driving south. The beeps would guide them. Somewhere ahead, a machine was humming in the dark, a steady sound waiting to be found. And somewhere, he hoped, Sarah was hearing it too, a faint echo from a life she lost, calling her family home. The morning sun came through the big garage door, lighting up dust in the air. A woman with her curly hair tied back wiped her hands on a rag. Her name tag said Annie. "Annie, you finished with the Miller's pickup yet?" called Hank, the shop owner. He was an older man with kind eyes. "Just about, Hank," Annie said. Her voice was warm but quiet. "The alternator was the problem. It's all fixed." "You're a wonder," Hank said, smiling. "Don't know what I did before you walked in here 5 years ago." Annie smiled back, but it was a small smile. She did not remember walking in here either. She remembered waking up by the side of a road near Cedar Ridge, Oregon. Her head hurt badly. She did not know her name. Hank and his wife Marge took her in. They called her Annie because she liked the name. She was good with machines. Her hands knew things her mind did not. She finished up and walked toward the back of the shop to put her tools away. In the back corner stood an old, heavy safe. It was tall and gray from a bank that closed long ago. Hank used it to store spare parts. Annie stopped walking. Her breath felt tight in her chest. She did not like that safe. "Something wrong, Annie?" Hank asked, noticing her pause. "That safe," Annie said, not looking away from it. It feels heavy." "It's the strongest thing in the building," Hank laughed. "Door's been busted for years. Won't quite shut all the way, but it's good for storage." Annie forced herself to walk closer to put her wrench away on the shelf next to it. As she got near, she heard it. A low, deep hum. It came from inside the safe. "Do you hear that?" Annie asked, her head tilting. "Hear what?" Hank said. "Just the old fridge motor, probably." But it wasn't the fridge. This sound was different. It vibrated in her teeth. It felt familiar in a way that made her sad and scared at the same time. A headache began to pulse behind her eyes. "You look pale," Hank said, his smile fading. "You sit down. Marge sent lunch. You need to eat." Annie nodded, grateful. She walked quickly away from the safe and sat at a small, clean desk. She opened the lunch bag. Inside was a sandwich, an apple, and a small chocolate bar. Taped to the chocolate bar was a note from Marge. "For our favorite mechanic. XO." Annie's eyes filled with tears. She did not know why. Hank and Marge was so good to her. But sometimes a feeling would hit her, a feeling that she was waiting for something, or someone. Later she worked on a carburetor. Her hands moved with skill. As she concentrated, a tune came to her lips. It was a soft, slow hum, a lullaby. Hank heard it from across the shop. "You always hum that same song when you're deep in it," he said. "Pretty tune. Where's it from?" Annie stopped humming. She looked at her greasy hands. "I don't know," she said. And it was the truth. It just appeared in her mind, like a memory of a feeling. It felt like holding something small and warm. At the end of the day, she had to pass the safe again to get her coat. The low hum was still there. It seemed louder now, or maybe she was just listening for it. "Good night, Hank," she called. "Night, Annie. Get some rest." She walked out into the cool Oregon evening. She lived in a little apartment above the library. It was quiet, and it was hers, but it never quite felt like home. As she walked, she thought about the hum from the safe. It felt like a headache and a hug at the same time. It felt like a thread, tied to a part of her that was lost. She did not follow the thread. She was afraid of where it might lead, or what she might remember. She looked up at the mountains, dark against the evening sky. Somewhere out there, a man was driving an old car, listening to a beeping box. The box was listening for a hum, and the hum was coming from a broken safe in a repair shop, calling out to anyone who knew how to listen. The beeping from the box was a constant sound in the old car. Asterisk beep 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 beep, asterisk. It was much faster now. They had been driving for 3 days. "The sound likes Oregon," Lily said from the back. She was coloring in her notebook. "It does," David said. The map on his phone showed they were deep in the state, the cities far behind them. The roads were smaller now, lined with tall pine trees. "The beeping is very fast. It means we are getting close to the other safe." "Will Mommy be right next to it?" Lily asked, putting her crayon down. "I hope so," David said. He did not know. He only knew the sound would lead to the safe. Sarah's message said to follow the sound. He had to trust that. They stopped at a gas station with a small diner attached. David filled the car with gas. Lily held his hand as they went inside to use the bathroom and get food. A man with a kind face served them grilled cheese sandwiches at the counter. "Long trip?" he asked. "Yes," David said. "We are looking for a friend." "Well, you're in the right part of the world for finding peace and quiet," the man said. He looked at Lily. "You want some apple juice, honey?" Lily nodded. "Yes, please." While they ate, David listened. Not to the people, but for the hum. He heard nothing but the clatter of plates and the quiet country music from a radio. The safe was close, but not here. "Daddy," Lily said softly. She was looking at the back of her paper placemat. It had a map of local attractions. One was circled in pen by someone else. It said, "The lazy river great for families." "What is it, Lily?" She pointed to the name of the river. "That's what I call the song in my head. The quiet song. I call it the lazy river song. Mommy used to sing it." David's heart jumped. He looked at the map. The lazy river was just a tourist spot, but the name meant something. It was a connection. You remember that name? I think so, Lily said. It feels soft, like the song. David paid for the food. He took the placemat with him. In a hotel room 200 miles away, Oliver Thorne stared at a laptop screen. Mark and Ben were with him. A man's voice came from the computer speaker. The report is thin, Mr. Thorne. 5 years ago, the Cedar Ridge Sheriff's Department filed a found person report. A woman, mid-30s, found on Route 202. She had a head injury, no identification, no memory. Where did she go? Oliver asked, his voice tense. The report says she was released into the care of local residents, a Hank and Marge Wilson. They run an auto repair shop in the town of Cedar Ridge. The woman started working there, calls herself Annie. Oliver's knuckles were white. Annie. Do you want the address? The man on the speaker asked. Yes, now. Oliver wrote it down. Cedar Ridge, Oregon. He ended the call and looked at Mark and Ben. We have a name. We have a town. What do we do when we get there? Ben asked, looking nervous. We talk to her, Oliver said. But his eyes were not soft. They were the eyes of a man who was scared. We make her understand it's better to stay, Annie. We help her remember that she's happy where she is. And if she doesn't agree? Mark asked quietly. Oliver did not answer. He grabbed his car keys. We're closer than Finch is. We get there first. That's all that matters. That night, David and Lily stayed in another motel. This one was called the Pine View. The trees were thick around it. David put the listening box on the nightstand. The beeping was now a constant, fast pulse. Asterisk, beep, 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 asterisk. It sounds like a heart now, Lily said. She was in her pajamas holding Mr. Snuggles. It's the heart of the machine, David said, and it's very close. He looked at the placemat map again. Cedar Ridge was just a few towns over from the lazy river. It felt right. He tucked Lily into bed and read her a story. But his mind was on the sound, and on the map, and on the man who was also searching. He knew Oliver would not stop. The race was no longer just about following a sound. It was about reaching the end of the sound before someone else could silence it forever. As Lily fell asleep, David stood by the window. He looked out at the dark shapes of the mountains. Somewhere out there, in a small town called Cedar Ridge, a machine was humming. And he was almost there. The main street of Cedar Ridge was only 3 blocks long. David drove slowly, the car's tires crunching on the gravel at the road's edge. The listening box on the seat beside him was not beeping anymore. It was emitting a steady, high-pitched tone. The sound is here, David said, his eyes scanning the buildings. A post office, a small grocery store, a diner. Lily pressed her face against her window. Is it in that building? She asked, pointing to a place with 2 big garage doors. A sign above it read, Wilson's Auto Repair. David parked the car across the street. He picked up the box. The steady tone was loud and clear. He rolled down his window. The cool mountain air came in. And then, he heard it. Underneath the tone from his machine, he could just make out a deep, quiet hum. It was the same sound from Oliver Thorne's party. It was coming from inside the repair shop. That's it, he whispered. That's the hum. He looked at the shop. Just then, the side door opened. A woman walked out. She wore blue work pants and a jacket. She had a toolbox in one hand. Her curly red hair was pulled back. Lily saw her first. She went very still. She didn't say a word. She just watched the woman walk to a parked truck, open the hood, and lean in. David was looking at the shop, listening to the hum. He didn't see her. Daddy, Lily said softly. Her voice was a small breath. David turned. What is it, Lily? Lily didn't point. She just kept looking out the window, her eyes wide. The lady, she said. Her hair is like the picture. David's head snapped to the side. He saw the woman bent over the truck engine. He saw the curve of her cheek. He saw the red curls escaping from her ponytail. His hand tightened on the steering wheel. He watched her work for a full minute. She moved with confidence. She tapped a part with a wrench, listening to the sound. It was a gesture he had seen 1,000 times. His Sarah did that. He opened his car door. Stay here, Lily. Hold Mr. Snuggles. I will be right there. Lily nodded, her small hands clutching her bear. David crossed the street. The humming grew louder as he approached the open garage door. He walked inside. The place smelled of oil and metal, and there, in the back corner, was an old, heavy bank safe. Its door was slightly open. An older man with a kind face looked up from a desk. "Can I help you?" "The safe," David said, not taking his eyes off it. "Where did you get it?" "Oh, that old thing," the man said. He stood up. "Name's Hank. That safe was here when I bought the place. From the old bank. It's busted. Won't shut right. I keep my extra parts in it. Makes a funny noise sometimes." "A hum," David said. Hank looked surprised. "Yeah, a low hum. You can hear it?" "Yes," David said. He took a step closer. The hum was a physical feeling in his chest. This was the sister safe. It had been here for years. Calling out, "You have a woman working here, Annie." Hank's friendly expression became careful. "I do. What's your interest in Annie?" "I think she might be an old friend," David said. He tried to keep his voice calm. "A friend who got lost a long time ago. Is she here?" Hank studied David's face. He saw the intensity in the man's eyes. He saw no threat, only a deep, urgent hope. He shook his head. "She just ran to the parts store down the street. She'll be back in 10 minutes. You can wait if you want." David looked from the humming safe to the street outside. Lily was waiting in the car. Annie was coming back. He was standing in the place the sound had led him. The first part of the journey was over. Now he had to face what came next. "I'll wait," David said. The phone in Oliver Thorne's car rang with a sharp, loud sound. He fumbled to answer it. "Talk to me," Oliver said. "It's confirmed," the voice on the phone said. It was the man he hired. "The woman using the name Annie in Cedar Ridge is her. The physical description from 5 years ago matches Sarah Finch. She works at the auto repair shop on Main Street." Oliver's heart was a hammer in his chest. "Is she alone? Is there a man with a little girl asking for her?" A pause on the line. "My contact in town didn't mention that. He just confirmed she works there. But Mr. Thorne, if that engineer is tracking the safe's frequency like you said, he could be very close." "He's already there," Oliver whispered, more to himself than to the man on the phone. He ended the call and slammed his hand on the steering wheel. "He's already there." Mark jumped in the passenger seat. "What do we do?" "We get there now," Oliver shouted. He pressed the accelerator. The car sped faster down the mountain road. Cedar Ridge was only 30 minutes away. It was a race he could not afford to lose. Inside Wilson's auto repair, the air was thick with the hum of the old safe. David stood near the door watching the street. Lily waited in the car as he asked. Hank, the shop owner, walked over with 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to David. "You look like you've been driving a long time." "Thank you," David said, accepting the cup. He took a sip. His eyes kept drifting to the safe in the corner. "You know," Hank said, following his gaze, "Annie, she doesn't like that thing. Never has. Gets real quiet if she has to go near it. Says it gives her a bad feeling." David looked at him. "Did she ever say why?" Hank shook his head. "No, and we don't push her on it. She's had a hard enough time, not knowing who she is or where she came from. She's a good soul, works harder than anyone." "She always did," David said softly without thinking. Hank's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "You really do know her, don't you?" "Her name is Sarah," David said. The name felt both strange and wonderful to say out loud here. "She is my wife. The little girl in the car is our daughter, Lily. Sarah disappeared 5 years ago. We thought she was gone forever." Hank's face softened with pity and understanding. "Oh, my boy," he sighed. "And this sound led you here? To that old safe?" "Yes. She left me a message. She told me to follow the sound from its sister machine. This is it." Hank looked at the humming safe, then back at David. He believed him. "Well, she should be back any minute. She just went to get a fuel pump for old Mr. Daly's truck." He checked his watch. "Store's just 3 blocks down." David walked to the open garage door. He looked out at his car. Lily was drawing in her notebook. She was safe. He looked up the street, the opposite direction from the parts store. A dark, expensive car was speeding into town. It was moving too fast. He recognized the car. It was the same one that sped away from Oliver Thorne's house. "He's here," David said. his voice low and hard. "Who's here?" Hank asked, coming to stand beside him. "The man who took her from us," David said. He stepped out of the garage and onto the sidewalk. He positioned himself between the street and the door to the shop. He was a quiet man, but in that moment, he made himself wide. He was a wall. The black car screeched to a stop right in the middle of the street, directly across from the auto shop. The driver's door opened. Oliver Thorne got out. Lily saw the woman first. She was walking down the sidewalk, carrying a heavy box. Her head was down, watching her step. Her red curls bounced with each step. Lily opened the car door and got out. She did not run. She just stood on the sidewalk, holding Mr. Snuggles. She waited. The woman, Annie, walked closer. She was almost to the shop door. Lily took one small step forward. "Excuse me," she said. Annie stopped. She looked down. She saw a little girl with serious gray eyes and wild auburn hair. "Hello?" Annie said. She shifted the box in her arms. "Are you lost?" Lily shook her head. She pointed a small finger at Annie's hair. "Your hair is like my mommy's in the picture." Annie felt a strange twist in her stomach. She slowly put the box down on the sidewalk. She knelt so she was at Lily's eye level. "A picture?" "My daddy has it in his pocket," Lily said. She studied Annie's face. "Your eyes are the same color too, but her smile is bigger." Annie's breath caught. The little girl's face felt so familiar. A warmth spread through her chest, a feeling she had not felt in 5 years. It was the feeling of holding something precious. "What is your name?" she asked, her voice soft. "Lily." The name hit Annie like a physical touch. Asterisk Lily, asterisk. It felt small and warm. It felt right. "That is a beautiful name." David stepped out of the garage. He saw Lily talking to the woman on the sidewalk. He saw the woman kneeling. He saw the curve of her shoulders, the way her head tilted. It was Sarah. He walked toward them, his steps slow and quiet. He stopped a few feet away. Annie looked up. She saw a man. He was lean with kind, tired eyes. He looked at her the way Hank looked at Marge, but deeper. It was a look of knowing. It was a look of 5 years of missing someone. "Sarah," David said. The name was a whisper, a prayer. Annie stood up. The name Sarah buzzed in her ears. It felt true. It felt like her own. But her mind was a blank page. I don't," she started, but the words wouldn't come. She looked from the man's sad, hopeful face to the little girl's sure one. Her head began to ache. A sharp voice cut through the air. "Sarah!" Oliver Thorne was running across the street. His face was flushed. His eyes were wide with panic. "Sarah, don't listen to them." Annie, Sarah, turned. She saw the man running toward her. She saw his blonde hair, his blue eyes, his expensive clothes. Seeing his face made the headache explode into a sharp white pain. A memory flashed. A dark warehouse, cold concrete. The same man, his face angry, yelling. A feeling of fear, a shove, the world tilting. The back of her head hitting something hard. She gasped, putting a hand to her temple. "Stay away from her, Oliver," David said. He moved to stand slightly in front of both Lily and Sarah. Oliver skidded to a stop on the sidewalk. He ignored David. He looked only at Sarah. "Annie, listen to me. These people are confused. You have a life here, a good life. Hank and Marge, your job. Come with me, we can talk." Sarah looked at Oliver. The fear from the memory was fresh. She looked at David. She saw no threat, only a profound sadness and a steady strength. She looked down at Lily, who reached out and took her hand. The little girl's hand was warm and solid. Sarah did not take Oliver's hand. She took a step back, closer to David and Lily. "I remember you," she said to Oliver, her voice shaky but clear. "I remember the warehouse. I remember falling." Oliver's face went pale. "No, you don't understand. I remember the dark," Sarah whispered, her eyes losing focus as the memory grew. "I remember the metal. I was inside. I was inside the safe." The words hung in the air. Asterisk, I was inside the safe. Sarah's hand went to her mouth. Her eyes were wide, seeing not the street, but a dark, metal space. A pen in her hand, the photograph from her pocket, the desperate need to leave a message. "The picture," she breathed out. She looked at David. I had our picture. I wrote on it. I said to follow the sound. David's eyes filled with tears. He nodded. I found it. We followed it all the way here. Oliver lunged forward. He grabbed Sarah's arm. You need to come with me right now. Let go of her! David's voice was not loud, but it was a command. He stepped forward, placing his body between Oliver and his family. Sarah yanked her arm free from Oliver's grip. The touch of his hand, the sound of his voice. It was unlocking doors in her mind. The memories were coming fast now, like water breaking through a dam. She looked past David, down at the little girl. Lily was looking up at her, not scared, just waiting. Her gray eyes were so familiar, her small face. A lullaby floated into Sarah's mind, the same tune she hummed in the garage. She saw herself singing it. She felt a small warm weight in her arms, a baby with a soft cheek against hers. The Lazy River song, Sarah whispered. Her eyes locked with Lily's. I used to sing it to you, at bedtime. You called it that because the notes went up and down like a river. Lily's whole face lit up. She nodded, a big sure nod. You remember? I remember, Sarah said. A sob broke from her chest. She remembered the weight of her daughter in her arms. She remembered the feel of her husband's hand in hers. She remembered love. It flooded her, washing away 5 years of empty space. I remember you, Lily. Mommy, Lily said, and she didn't whisper it this time. The word was a key turning the final lock. Sarah Finch fell to her knees on the sidewalk and opened her arms. Lily ran into them, burying her face in her mother's neck. Sarah held her daughter, really held her for the first time in 5 years. She breathed in the smell of her hair. She cried. Oliver stared. He saw the reunion. He saw the truth settling in Sarah's eyes. He saw David Finch watching him, a quiet, solid wall guarding his family. This isn't over, Oliver spat, but his voice was shaky. It is for you, David said. Hank had come out of the shop. So had Marge, who had seen the commotion from their house next door. A few other people from the street had stopped to watch. Oliver looked at the small crowd of faces. They were not his rich friends. They were strangers in a small town. They were looking at him with suspicion. He saw no help here, only witnesses. Fear, cold and final, gripped him. He turned and ran back to his car. Mark and Ben were already inside, their faces pale. Oliver jumped into the driver's seat and slammed the door. The car peeled away, leaving a cloud of dust on the quiet street. David did not watch him go. He knelt down beside his wife and his daughter. He put a gentle hand on Sarah's back. She looked up at him, her face wet with tears. David, she said. His name. She remembered his name. He touched her cheek. Sarah, he answered. Welcome home. Hank's wife, Marge, ushered them all inside. She brought them into the small living room behind the repair shop. She made tea. Sarah sat on the couch, not letting go of Lily's hand. David sat beside her. The police will need to be called, Hank said, his voice gentle. What that man did, David nodded. I know. I will call them, but not right this minute. He looked at Sarah. She was looking around the room, but her eyes kept coming back to Lily, as if making sure she was still real. She reached out and touched David's hand. Her fingers traced his knuckles, a gesture from a lifetime ago. You found me, she said. You showed me how, he answered. He took the photograph from his shirt pocket. It was worn at the edges now. He gave it to her. Sarah took it. She looked at the younger versions of themselves. She turned it over and saw her own frantic writing. I was so scared, she whispered. But I knew you would understand the clue. I knew you could follow the sound. What happened after you got out? David asked softly. Sarah closed her eyes. I was hurt. My head. Nothing made sense. I walked until I found the road. Someone found me. They brought me here. Hank and Marge. They were so kind. They called me Annie. She opened her eyes full of tears again. I forgot you. I forgot my own name. I am so sorry. David shook his head. You have nothing to be sorry for. You survived. You left us a trail. That is all that matters. Later, David stepped outside to use his phone. He called the police in Seattle. He told them everything he knew about Oliver Thorne and Mark and Ben. He told them about a warehouse 5 years ago and a safe. He gave them the address of the auto shop in Cedar Ridge. He knew it would take time, but he was not worried. Oliver was running scared, and scared men make mistakes. When he came back inside, Lily was showing Sarah her notebook. "This is the story I made up about a spaceship," Lily said, pointing to a drawing. "And this one is about a bear who learns to bake." Sarah was smiling a real smile. It was tired and a little sad, but it was hers. "They are wonderful stories," she said. "Will you tell me one at bedtime tonight?" Lily nodded eagerly. "I have lots to tell you. Hundreds." They stayed with Hank and Marge for 2 days. The local police came and took a statement from Sarah. They were gentle with her. They said the authorities in Seattle were very interested in what she had to say. On the 3rd morning, they packed their old car. Hank and Marge stood on the porch to say goodbye. "You ever need anything, you come back," Marge said, hugging Sarah tightly. "Thank you," Sarah said, "for everything, for giving me a place when I was lost." They drove away from Cedar Ridge. The humming safe was silent now in David's mind. He had found what it was pointing to. The drive back to Seattle was quiet, but it was a good quiet. Lily slept in the back, her head leaning against her mother's arm. Sarah watched the mountains go by. "Our apartment is small," David said after a while. "I don't care," Sarah said. "Lily's bed is small. We will need to get a bigger one." Sarah looked at him. "We have time," she said. She reached over and took his hand. "We have all the time now." They arrived home in the evening. David carried a sleeping Lily up the stairs. Sarah followed. She walked into the small, neat apartment. She looked at the pictures on the wall, pictures of Lily growing up. She looked at the little kitchen. She looked at the quiet digital clock on the wall. It was not the home she remembered, but it was a home filled with love. It was their home. David put Lily to bed. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed and listened as Lily, half asleep, began a story about a princess who was found by a knight and a little queen. Sarah smiled and stroked her daughter's hair. Later, she and David sat at the small kitchen table. The city lights glittered outside the window. "The safe," Sarah said softly. "I was so angry at it. I hated it for so long, but it saved me. The air system we built, it kept me alive. And the sound, it led you back." David nodded. "It was not a tomb. It was a signal. You made it that way." She held his hand across the table. The silence between them was not empty anymore. It was full of 5 years of missed words, but it was also full of a future where they could say them all. Downstairs in the trunk of their car, the listening box was silent. Its work was done. The hum had been followed, the impossible lock had been opened, and a family, once broken, was whole again, learning how to fit the pieces of their lives back together, one story, one day at a time.